What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Conversations with Coach La La La. Hope y'all feeling good on this Sunday. Got the mic all high because they had Ray Royale. Shout out to the R&D Lounge. Baby, they be starting trouble up in here. DJ Dex, Ray Royale, they be putting it down. Shout out to the BAMS Fest, y'all. We was outside. It was a great experience. DJ Dex did his thing. We had a lot of local artists doing their thing. And we had the legendary DJ Jazzy Jeff was in the building too. You know, Coach La was outside. Yes, man. It's bittersweet, y'all. This is the final finale of season 9. And it has been a wonderful time spending with you guys all season 9, right? Not only is it bittersweet because it is the finale, it's also my final night at 10 p.m. I've been holding down this 10 p.m. spot for 3 years. And I have graduated to daytime. Shout out to the man of the hour, the owner, you know, the man with the power, Mr. Marv Neal. He has decided that Coach La should go to daytime hours on Sunday. So starting Sunday, July 19th, your favorite Around the Way therapist will be going daytime. So tonight is the final episode of Conversations with Coach La at the 10 p.m. hour. But it's still going to be dope guests. It's going to be excellent conversations on the virtual couch. It's just going to be at a new time. So y'all make sure y'all lock that in because you don't want to miss the daytime hour. I'm sure most of you will stay with me. You won't go nowhere. You know, you'll still be here. And I'm excited. I have a great lineup for you guys for season 10. And season 10 will be the beginning of chapter 50. So you guys, my birthday party is 14 days away at this point. I know y'all got y'all tickets because I seen them Eventbrite tickets popping. So I know people have gotten their tickets. It's a milestone birthday. This whole season has been about debunking mental health, of course, one conversation at a time. But season 9 has been about the evolution. It's been about evolving. It's been about healing and really elevating one another, edifying each other. And every guest that I brought on so far, I'm so thankful for each and every one of them that shared their story, that was vulnerable on the virtual couch. And it's been a great time. Oh, I forgot to hit the live button on Instagram. I'm sorry, Instagram. Here you go. All right. So now Instagram is live too. Shout out to everybody on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and of course, my iHeartRadio family. We appreciate you guys tuning in each and every week. Please share the live because the guest that I have tonight, I'm super excited about this young lady. Because we're talking about finding your voice while you're healing. And she has a story to tell, as all my guests do. But tonight's guest is none other than our own Boston-born, Atlanta-based rapper, spoken word artist, and creative force redefining the sound and soul of hip hop. She recently graduated from Spelman College, and Nay Speaks blends academic insight with the inner city influence storytelling, delivering sharp poetic lyricism that explores identity, resilience, and Black womanhood with fearless honesty. Now I know she's in the back there. She gotta turn her camera on so I can bring her on camera, but she is here with me. She is known for her commanding performances in intentional artistry. Nay has graced stages from TD Garden to college campuses and cultural festivals all around the nation. Her debut project, Neighbor Healer, introduced a fresh voice grounded in authenticity, earning her the recognition of her lyrical depth, creative direction, and genre-bending sound. I'm excited about her. I'm really good friends with her mother. I've known her since she was really young. Had the honor of her interviewing me once for one of her school projects. And I'm just super proud to see her growth and see all that she's been able to do. And she has a story to tell. And I hope that everyone will listen as she explores with me tonight, resilience, mental health, and just strength of pushing through and finding your voice even when life starts lifing. So shout out Sean Jordan. Thank you for tuning in. And everybody that is on IG. I appreciate all of you guys. I'm going to bring Miss Nay Speaks on camera because she is in the back. And hello, Miss Nay.
Hi, Coach Law. How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm well.
I know you are. You're doing great. Now, where you tuning in from tonight? You in Atlanta, right?
Yes, I'm in Atlanta right now.
Yeah. So now you got two homes. You be here for a little bit and then you be out. So
Right.
while you were here, though, you got a chance to perform and do some things for FIFA. I was told. So you
Yep, I did a
did
FIFA
stage.
Fan Fest.
Yes. And I'm excited. I got a chance to attend your graduation party. Shout out to your mom. She did a wonderful job with that as well. But for people who don't know who you are, right? And this is their first time um, being introduced to you. What do you
Mhm.
want them to know about you? Who is Nay Speaks beyond the things that they can Google?
Beyond the things that they can Google, I like that one. Um, Well, as you stated already, I'm from Boston, Mass. I'm based in Atlanta. And so like everything that I talk about in my music is about like that journey, that transition. And I'm inspired by like everything that's around me, like all my interactions with the people, both back home and here. So like that's what I put in my music. And so I feel like every encounter like with my audience or just people I'm meeting on a daily basis, like is everything that I'm pouring into the music I'm creating. And right now it's just about like having fun and, just sharing these experiences however I want to express them and just making sure that like while I'm doing that, I'm merging like education and like all of the things that are important to me. And pouring back into the community because I feel like music right now is all about like enjoying yourself, having fun, staying motivated, keeping your mind right. And so that's everything that I'm trying to give back to the world right now.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed your lyrics and what you're talking about has evolved and changed over time. With each project, you've done different things with your voice and also what you've been talking about. When did you realize music wasn't simply entertainment and it was more of a purpose?
Hmm. I would say like the more shows I did, especially like back home and then coming to Atlanta and having like a completely new audience, like I realized when you're engaging with people, like entertainment is sort of what's just in front of you. Is what you're looking at. But I feel like there's certain things that you have to do to connect with an audience that make it more personal. And in those interactions is where I'm learning like, all right, this is not just about like putting on a show, like it's about connecting with people, connecting with the crowd. And I always make sure that like when I'm in front of people, like I'm looking in the audience, like I see you, with the red lipstick, with the striped dress, with the stuff like that. Cause it's important for people to know that like, yes, we're looking at you, but you see us too. So
Yeah, you have great stage presence. To be
thank
so
you.
young, right? And I've always admired artists because I think people don't realize, because I do spoken word too, but memorizing your songs and staying on beat and all of that, like it's a true talent. Not everybody
Right.
can get up there and do that and stay focused with all of the lights and the cameras and the people screaming and stay in that lane. What do you think helps you to be able to be so focused? Because you were not just doing school, you're doing
Hmm.
music, you're doing shows, you also do hair. So
Yeah.
I mean, you're an entrepreneur, you do content, and you just do a lot. So how do you balance all of that? Because I know a lot of young people, including us big old adults at these big ages, really struggle with balance. So how
Yeah.
do you balance all of the multiple hats that Nay Speaks does?
Um, I think it just comes from like my upbringing. Like I had the type of mom like she was gonna put me in everything. Like I did swimming, I did art class, I did dance, I did gymnastics, I did like she any program that the Boys and Girls Club had or the YMCA had, like she was putting me in it. And then it was like when I was in school, like even elementary school, we had like violin after school. We had it's so many things that I had to keep up with, like as a kid. And so I feel like I was kind of always used to like a schedule that had a fast pace because my mom was like, "You're gonna be doing something. Like we're not just gonna be sitting around." Um,
Go
and so
shout
she
out to
always,
mom.
yeah, shout out to mom. She always had me like in the community, trying new stuff, and she didn't care if like I tried something one week and didn't like it. Like she was like, "You're just gonna try, finish out what you can, and continue the things that you like." And so as I got older, like even working with NAACP, like the AXO competition, and when you're doing AXO, I did mine for spoken word, but it was like you're going into a competition now for what you're passionate about. So that means you have to know how to introduce yourself, you have to know how to speak, you have to know, like what to say and how to promote what you're passionate about as well, because art is a business too. And so I feel like I grew up kind of being like molded and poured into to understand that if this is what you want to do, you have to know how to handle it as business too. Don't just think because this is what you like to do, it's all fun and games. No, you have to start something, you have to finish it. And so I found that thing that was music for me. So
You do have excellent work ethic, and not only just in music, but you excel academically too. So you were doing all the things, and I'm super proud of you. And I think you've been a great role model for a lot of young people who are watching. Now, healing isn't always quiet. Sometimes it sounds like poetry, sometimes it sounds like music, and sometimes it's just about telling a story. Um, Throughout this, you've also had some health scares too.
yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that because I think a lot of people may not know, like, this isn't just something that's just coming easy to you. You've
Mhm.
actually had to push through some hard things and still stay really positive and outgoing. Like, how have you been able to do that and manage your mental health?
So going back to like the point that you just made about like excelling academically, like I want to say coming into school, oh, I was struggling when I first got there. I was like, I'm in a new place. I'm learning like a whole new topic. I came in as a computer science major. And after I got sick, I realized like there's no way I can come back and recover in a subject that I'm not passionate about. It just wasn't going to work. It didn't feel as if it was possible or like a calling to me. And I was like, okay, I gotta switch gears and figure out how am I going to be able to walk across that stage and maintain like grades and all of the things after getting sick and being sick for a while due to sickle cell. So I had been like out for a month, and then when I came back I realized like, this is where I know this conversation will come in later about therapy, but that was an important part of it too. But I realized I had to switch my major. So I came back in as an English major, love to read and write, and that plays a big part into my music. And so I was able to like walk in my truth and find my footing there rather than trying to just push through knowing I wasn't passionate about computer science. So it was hard, like I didn't come in just excelling academically. Like I had to find what I liked, and then once I found that, I also had to figure out how to advocate for myself, how to properly communicate with teachers, making sure I like let people know like I had something happen to me, that this is not normal. Like it wasn't average. Like I was sick and I had to come back and make that time up. And so, you have to speak up or nobody knows what's going on. And that was the biggest lesson I think I learned. Like speak up for yourself as soon as possible, sooner rather than later. Be proactive rather than having to go back and fix everything later. So
That's a really dope lesson to learn, especially early in life. And what do you think prompted you to really be able to tap in like that? Because I know a lot of this whole episode tonight is about finding your voice while you're still
mhm.
healing. And not sometimes it's a physical ailment that we're dealing with, sometimes it's mental health, sometimes it's just life. And um,
Right.
what do you think gave you the courage to be able to speak up and tell people what's going on? Because it's hard to talk about something
Mhm.
that serious and not feel, for some of my clients, they feel like once they say that, people are going to pity them or look down on them, so they don't really want everybody to know that they're sick.
Yeah. I think the hard part about it is that sometimes like you have to hit like rock bottom to realize, there's nowhere else to go right now. So I think I like I said, I had gotten sick, and so it was like my body literally told me you don't have another choice. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to just come back to school and do school, because as far as they know, I might just not be here. They don't know exactly what's going on. So I was forced to, go talk to the dean, go to the counseling center because I needed help. And so it was like you can't just go to your homegirls about this. That's not gonna work in this case. Um, and so once I started going to the dean and I'm realizing there is systems in place that they're put there to help you in case of emergencies or in case you have anything going on mentally, or if anything's wrong. And if you don't use these systems, I mean, you short yourself on a lot of resources that are put there for you. And I feel like so often, like, we think the things that we lack, or like, or having like sickle cell, or whatever the case may be for each individual, we think those things are like our shortcomings. We look down on ourselves for them, when in reality there's resources like allocated to you specifically for those things you're thinking are your downfalls. And so I realized that when it came to my sickle cell, when it came to needing help academically, financially, like, you have to use those resources, because if you don't, I mean, I feel like you're playing yourself, and I played myself plenty of times, to the point where I was like, okay, I can't keep going down this route. So,
Right. I'm glad that you brought that up. Like finding out what the resources are, asking the
mhm.
questions. And I think the biggest thing, again, we keep emphasizing is using your voice. As you said earlier, this show we talk a lot about therapy. I'm a licensed therapist. I know that's become a big deal currently in this
Clock
field,
it.
right? But I am a licensed independent clinical social worker that practices psychotherapy. And I often ask every guest, right? Because this show is to debunk therapy. A lot of people think going to therapy means that something is wrong with them, or that they have a mental health disorder. And often it's just a resource, it's just a support system. So,
Right.
um, from your perspective, what does therapy mean to you, and how have you used it?
So I think my sophomore year, so that it had been like a couple months after I had gotten sick, I was like, I need somebody to completely, help me reset everything that I know. Like, I need some help with my foundation, because I realized my foundation had gotten a little shaky in terms of, why am I scared to ask for help when I need help? But the community that we grow up in is very big on, well, figure it out, or do it yourself. And it's not intentional, but it comes from like generations of people being forced to have to do that, to have to figure it out themselves. And so I had one of my homegirls tell me, like, girl, you should go to the counseling center, because I go every here and there, and my counselor helps me get my mind right. So I finally was like, okay, first step is walk into the building, walk into the counseling center. Hi, my name's Janae. This is what I have going on. And so I realized, like, when I got there, and shout out to Dr. Riley, my therapist for the past 2 years, she let me know that, like, look, basically what you put in is what you get out when it comes to therapy. So when you come in here, and you just let me know, how you're feeling, what you have going on. It's just updates. It's like talking to one of your homegirls, except this homegirl is able to help you figure out, like, where are things going wrong in your foundation? Like, what are you thinking that you don't realize are coming from thousands of outside thoughts, or the way you were raised, or what somebody told you? And so sitting down with her, I was able to realize, like, how much pressure I put on myself that was like unnecessary for certain things.
Mm,
And one of the biggest things she told me was like, your life is not normal. Your life is not regular. And when you stop treating it as such, like, you're going to be able to process a lot of stuff, clearer, and at a more like a faster pace, because your head will be clearer. You're thinking, I just want my life to be regular, so how do I gain this balance, or how do I regulate everything? Everything can't be regulated when it's not regular. You have
right.
to put yourself in these things, into position to to be able to process stuff, and to be able to move forward, and keep yourself afloat. And so she just gave me so many practices for me to just like get it together and to breathe. Like, I was able
That
to
is
vent
so
and
important.
leave with something.
What do you
Yeah.
think one of the biggest things that she said or did, practices that you could share that you think was monumental to changing your perspective?
So back to the point of, not trying to treat my life like it's a regular thing. Like, being an artist, and a full-time artist at that, even while in school, it wasn't like anything was part-time. Everything was full-time. I'm a full-time student and a full-time artist at the same time. Um so I think, like, realizing that, and then understanding that, like, with that being said, your energy, you have to be able to understand like where your energy is going and how your energy works. And so she broke down to me like, if you feel like you're more productive in the day and things like that, then you need to utilize that time in the day. Because if your mind and your body shuts down at 8 p.m., we don't need to be trying to fit everything into after 8 p.m. You know what I mean? So once I realized that, things like, your schedule, your calendar, being visual, like I write everything down to the best of my ability. Or sometimes I have to talk about things over and over for me to remember. But all of these practices that have been like so important to, the structure you talk about, to the work ethic you talk about. And so they also made it to the point where like I can enjoy the ride. Like I can work hard and enjoy the work because I now am put in that position. Thanks to my therapist and thanks to myself and thanks to God. So
I love that.
yeah,
One, breathing. Most people don't even realize how important it is to just take a minute and just take a deep breath and slow down.
right.
This world will have us moving so fast. Not to mention being able to enjoy the journey, even the hard parts, even the times that it doesn't go right, because there's lessons in everything. So I just love,
Right.
it's so great that you're learning this now. Some people don't learn this. You know what I mean? They wait so long to get help and to go to therapy. Like they're the big old age of 50 that I will be in like 2 weeks before they go to therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and that's another reason why I was really excited about bringing you on the show, because some people just don't realize like therapy is an intervention. It's proactive. It actually is like
Right.
preventative care, just like going to see your primary care and you do all other things to keep your mind and your body right. I'm sorry, your body
Mm-hmm.
right. People need to do the same thing with their mind
Right.
and stay fresh and clear, and you can get more done. So I think that's super, super dope. One of the things that I've also learned is that a lot of times people struggle with making transitions in their life. So you
Mm-hmm.
go from like high school to college, for instance. That's a major transition. And now you finish school, right? And so now you're in another transition. So talk to me a little bit about this journey. That lasts, I don't know, what, 45 days? Was it 45 days?
It was 50 days.
50 days? What made you take it to the streets, take it to the internet, and start rapping about needing to make that money to pay that bill and do? Because I've been in the school twice, and I know they don't want to give you your credentials if you got a balance. So I knew
Mm-hmm.
how serious it was
Yeah.
to make sure everything was taken care of. How'd you get that idea? And to be that brave to just be like, you know what? I'm gonna put my business out here. I'm gonna get
Yeah.
this money and get it.
I think like the first part of it is that like the approach was not new to me. Like I've been rapping, you know what I mean? Like, and it started off with like car freestyles and video freestyles. So it's like that approach was not new to me. Like that's me.
Hmm.
So I feel like after that, the part of like being vulnerable is like, look, like I done already got here. I done got sick and came back, and so it was just kind of like, closed mouth really does not get fed. Like, I'm not scared to ever say like what I got going on, especially after like I done almost lost my life while pursuing my education. So I feel like after that, a lot of things changed like inside of me. That it was just to the point where it's like, if there's any opportunity that I have, like, and I said this in the video that I put on Instagram as well, like any opportunity that I have for a shot, like I'm gonna take a shot. I'm gonna take the shot because like why not me? You know what I mean? Like why not me? And
You,
so it worked in my favor, being faithful.
yeah. Do you think life that saying about life and death experiences? So like having that experience of like feeling like maybe your life would be over. Do you think that is what really changed you to be fearless, or are you still afraid at times?
Oh, definitely still afraid at times. But I think fear looks different. Like I'm not fearless. I am not fearless. I'm scared to death. I still call my mama, but like I think it's just
You seem fearless
like
though. That's not the energy you give off. I mean,
yeah. You
I
know what?
mean,
I'll
you got
take it
that
though.
little, you know what I'm saying, that little bounce in your videos and stuff, and you be talking
Yeah.
your talk. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it's like when they say like two truths can exist at the same time. Like
Mhm.
I am fearless in a lot of ways to the point where I'm not scared to try anything. I'm not scared to say anything or do anything. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to my music. Like
Yeah,
I'm gonna just I don't know. It's like an out of body experience sometimes because it's like I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to get off what I need to get off.
yeah.
But
Excuse me. Okay,
yes, like
I got a
I'm gonna do
question
what
for
I
you.
gotta do.
Do you think when you're creating your music, are you creating it from a place of pain or from healing? Because I feel like, thinking about Mary J. Blige, for instance, she wrote some of her best music when she was going through it.
Mhm.
So, what do you think? Do you think you're writing from pain or you writing from healing?
Hmm. I wouldn't say right now it's like a variety. You know what I mean? Like I have stuff that people haven't heard yet. So and a lot of new stuff on the way. So I feel like I write from both, sometimes pain, healing, but it's a lot more nuanced than that, Like right now I feel like I'm writing from just enjoying myself, like being young, enjoying my time here, being present. Like sometimes I write from pain and heartbreak, sometimes I write from healing, and other times I write from a lot of different things. And so
Well,
people stay tuned because you guys are gonna hear that, that's coming
you
soon.
Well, when you first started, it was really repping your city. You was
Yeah.
talking, but it was from a confident place, and you were
Hmm.
talking about a lot of the stuff that goes on in Boston. So, like, the violence and you know repping your peoples and hanging with your peoples, and then it shifted to this sexy girl, lover girl. I'm like, okay, she must got a boo now because you talking a lot of trash that you wasn't talking before.
My
So, what
God,
do you think?
that's funny.
I know, right? But it's true though, right? I know you had a little boo. You still got your boo?
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Plead the fifth.
Okay, all right, that's cool. As an artist, you don't have to tell. It's like not telling your real age. But I noticed that, when you started off, you were calling yourself the neighborhood healer, and
Yeah.
then it's shifted. And I think it's great that you're very versatile like that. And we talked offline, like what influenced the shift to being a little bit more, I would say a little bit more gangster with it,
Mhm.
a little bit more sassy. What do you think made the shift?
I mean, I just got older, like Neighborhood Healer came out, I think 2022, 2023. So I'm coming in as freshman May 19. I'm
Hmm.
22 now, so it's like a lot has changed. And so I feel like I had a lot of emotion to put into that project. I had a lot that I needed to say before that came at a pivotal period that came during a transition in itself. So I think like Neighborhood Healer, it'll always be a part of me because healing in the neighborhood looks different every day. You know what I mean? Sometimes people just need to get up and dance. Sometimes people need just a smile on their face. Sometimes people need a prayer. Sometimes people just need music to sound like a hug. Sometimes people just need it to sound like a shot.
Mm,
And so
real
I
talk.
feel like our city especially, I feel like I'm pushing boundaries when it comes to music and being free with your music because it's not always about um sometimes you gotta make music for you, and then people see you enjoying it, and that makes them enjoy it more. And so I feel like that's what these past couple songs have been like. Like people see me having fun with my music, and that make them be like, "Oh my, I can get with this." Like
I have to agree. I mean, I be rocking it. I know I'm about 50, but I still be liking your. Yeah, I be liking it.
as you should, Coach
I ain't
Law.
even gonna lie. I be like, hey, love a girl in the building. Okay. So finish this sentence for me. The woman I'm becoming is.
The woman I'm becoming is confident,
Oh, you was already that girl
confident,
though.
confident, confident, confident.
You was already that girl though.
Yeah, but I think now it's like it's another journey, it's another step of life into young adulthood for real. Not just student, but young adulthood. And so it's
Mhm.
like you gotta be confident in your journey, confident in everything you're about to step into, confident in everything I believe in. So
That's real talk. So you actually brought me to what I wanted to ask you. So what does healing mean and look like for you today? Like how does that fit in? Because there's been this this ongoing conversation, right? That healing
Mhm.
isn't this place that you arrive at. It's an ongoing journey. So for you, what does healing look like now? And do you agree with that? That it is never really done. You're never like healed.
I completely agree with that. I think it's just ongoing. It keeps going, and it looks different literally every day. But I would say right now, healing for me looks like enjoying time like by myself, and finding out how I want to like delegate my time right now, because school gives you structure. Like I know I got to get up, go to class, go here and do this, and then the rest of the time is music. But now it's like I have the choice of what books I want to read, the streets I want to walk on, a museum I want to see, the place I want to go. And so like healing for me right now looks like just continuing to find myself and to learn myself, and to do so like in all these different avenues, like that has been healing, just because now, like we talked about breathing, I got a minute to just decide like what I like for me, not for school, not for classmates, not for audience, for Nay, like really.
Yeah, school has a way of like really taking up a lot of your time. And
Mm-hmm.
then a lot of people go into sometimes depression when they in school because they're like, what do I do now? Like you would think
Right.
everybody would be excited about graduation, but for a lot of people, it's like reality check about
Mm-hmm.
needing to be this adult and know what you're doing. And some people really don't know what the next step is after graduation.
Yeah.
So, what is something that people misunderstand about you?
Some people misunderstand about me. I think like when people think about me, they have certain like expectations, especially going from like, neighborhood healer, and then like you said, being a little more gangster with it. I like how you put that. But I think like for a lot of people that haven't experienced me like in person or seen me perform or really had a conversation with me, it's a lot that they don't know about me, especially when it comes to why I'm so passionate about music and what I do and like what it means to me. Um and so I guess that wouldn't be like a misunderstanding fully, but I think some people don't connect the dots to like what this is all going to mean soon. But
Yeah.
the dots will be connected.
Yeah. And I think too when outside looking in, being that you were at Spelman, shout out to Spelman. That was one of the schools I wanted to go to, but I ended up with a 4-year scholarship to UMass Boston.
Come on
I
now.
didn't go, but I took the money.
Right.
The money controlled where I went. Not understanding the academic side, the artist side, some of the lyrics, like I think that can be a misunderstanding. Like, should you only be doing conscious rap, right? Because you're this
Right.
Spelman student, it's very girly, it's supposed to be really kind of prima donna, and
Yeah.
you're talking kind of sassy. Like, has that impacted you in people misunderstanding the academic professional Nay versus the Nay speaks that is like talking her ish?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Because I think it's like, people see me in such different settings. Like sometimes people see me just like when I get fly and I do music. Sometimes people know me from a spoken word piece or something like that. And so sometimes I feel like, people start to like, or people don't fully understand like my identity, like how versatile I am in so many ways. Like I'm outgoing, but then I also like to just be solo by myself. Like I spend a lot of time with myself because I enjoy my presence. And so I think, there's just certain parts of me that people don't know, and that's why they don't understand them. But the more like I get around people and come outside and they see like, oh, like she can pull off like talking her ish and still having this, like soft, poetic vibe, still going simultaneously. It's like, yeah, it's all a part of it.
All a part of it. So
Yeah.
recently, right, I did this presentation at organization Children's Hospital, right? And
Hmm.
the topic was code switching. So when I think about a lot of the things that we do as people of color, we shape shift. And some people will say, you know what, it's not authentic, right? Or we're being fake because they want to put us in a box, right? We're supposed to act like this. If you have these degrees or you have, this certain pedigree, then you should be acting this way. You shouldn't be saying this or you should say that. Do you find when I talk about code switching, how's that played into this identity shifting from Nay Speaks to Janae and the professional side versus the artist side, and do they interconnect, or are you finding it difficult to code switch at this point?
I think they interconnect. I've been at this for a long time now. To me, it feels like a long time because it's like I feel like I've been doing music my whole life. Like I've always been writing. I've always been doing like spoken word since I was a kid and stuff. And so growing up and doing that, but also being in school where they're teaching you like, when you speak to people or meet people, like you want to have a firm handshake. You want to look people in your eyes. When you're walking, you want to walk with your head up. Like things like that. That I feel like I learned at such an early age. Even if sometimes it's like you had to fake it. You knew what you had to do. Like you had to walk in there with the utmost confidence, even when you were like shaking inside, like scared, going into an interview or something like that. And so I feel like I don't necessarily need or have like a code switch, but I know when I walk into a room that I take up space.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so it's like if you already take up space, you might as well utilize the space and to get what you need,
Mm-hmm.
which can be, just meeting somebody. It can be networking. It can be an opportunity. Sometimes you might just go in and maybe you don't have any interactions. You just show face, take up space, and leave. But I know like if the space is given to me, I'm gonna take up space. And so I think that's kind of what my like code switch is. But sometimes you're not given the choice to code switch. Like I went to schools that was all people from the Caribbean, all black people. Then I went to high school with all white people. So it was like I've been everywhere. I've been around different people and I've had to navigate that my whole life. Sometimes I knew like sometimes I'm not going to speak in this room cuz they don't deserve to hear what I have to say in this room.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I'm the loudest in the room, and so I think that's my code switch right there.
Yeah, we that's awesome, and I totally agree. I think everybody does. I think it's a human experience. It's about reading the
Mhm.
room and making an intentional decision about what aspects and what parts of yourself you want to share. It
Right.
doesn't have to be a negative, although it started from a place of safety for people of color. Like I can't really totally be my full blackness in this space because
Yeah.
it's not safe. So, but I think as time has sort of morphed and gone on, it's about identity. And I think that's the interesting piece is who are you, right? And I think you were saying you're still discovering who you are,
Mhm.
self-awareness and having space to change, to reinvent ourselves and it not be
Mhm.
seen as we're being fake or
Yeah.
you don't know who you are because one minute you want to rap about healing and the next minute you want to rap about having sexual encounters. Like people have to realize we are all complex
Right.
and we're not we're not we're not one dimensional, right? Like we
Mhm.
all have different levels and different dimensions to ourselves. So have you ever battled with imposter syndrome? Being as confident as you are, have you ever been in a space where you did not feel confident or you weren't that girl?
I never been in a space where I wasn't that girl, but I've been in a space where I didn't feel like that girl. I would definitely say, like finding my footing in school for a while, where it was like, like I've always done well academically. So when I came to Spelman and it was like, you're going to have to devote a little bit more time and energy to being a good student, as well as music, because this is not just going to be an easy ride. I kind of faced something where I was just like, I need to sit back for a minute and, just kind of like, there was times I had to just be like, I just need to be a student real quick. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just need to be a student. Otherwise, my school was 55,000 a year. There's no way.
Mm-hmm.
So I had times where I was like, okay, I just have to sit back and like for me, that was like separating myself because music is like my everything. I love music. And it just means so much to me, but music also takes time, patience, energy, effort, all of the things. And so I had to sit back for a minute and just be like I need to fully devote myself to my schoolwork, to my education because if I don't, like it's showing up in my grades and and I didn't like that at all. That was like a wake up call for me.
Yeah. It's,
And
it's
yeah.
it's challenging when you have multiple things competing for your time and you
Right.
have to make those hard decisions to prioritize that. I know one of the things
Hmm.
your mom had said is that she wanted you to finish and she was hoping that you didn't blow up before you graduated.
Wait a minute.
He was like, I was just so glad that the blow up kind of happened right when you only had 50
With
days
the
of school.
graduation. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that was pretty dope. Now, as a therapist, one of the things that I have experienced with a lot of my young adult clients is that they struggle with a lot of anxiety
Hmm.
while they're trying to discover who they are. How has your relationship with yourself sort of changed over time? If you think about high school, college, and now, how
Yeah.
have you changed in terms of how you interact with yourself?
Hmm. I think, no, I know that ambition looks a lot different for me right now. You know, like when you're young, you just have this idea that, well, because I want something, and if I want it bad enough, then it's going to be mine. But this life is not about, sometimes I feel like, how bad you want things. It's about how much you like sit down and you have to calculate things. You have to be logical sometimes, to the point where, and I don't want to say logical like you talk yourself out of something. I mean logical like you sit down and say, if I do this and this and this, it'll get me here. And so that's kind of how I think about like everything on a daily basis. Like, okay, yeah, I'm in school. I know I need this tuition paid. So if I try this and this and this, maybe it'll get me here. But I'm already knowing like these are some steps I'm going to take and see what happens. And so, in throwing, paint at the wall, you learn so much about what works, what doesn't, what sticks, what doesn't. And so, I try to make sure that, like, each day I'm thinking about, what that next splatter is going to be, what that next color is going to be. Because, granted, you might get 1,000 shades of the wrong color throwing paint at the wall. But when you get that one right one, it takes you far, like a lot farther than you're thinking it will. And so, I feel like before I just knew like, well, I just have to be ambitious and I just have to dream big. And now I think more about the little steps that are getting me to these big goals, because those mean everything.
That's dope, Nay. You just dropping so many bars, so many, nuggets and wisdom at your young age. I just, it's dope to hear you talk that way now. And shout out to all of the listeners right now. Instagram is popping. I see y'all in
Hey,
the chat. So what's up, y'all? Facebook, thank you so much. DJ Wade, Michael Carrier, thank you for tuning in. I see you, Lois. I appreciate y'all. You are listening to Conversations with Coach La 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 right here on the Urban Heat. Boston has Black Radio, baby. And you know what it is. Make sure you go download that iHeartRadio app. If you haven't done so already, share the live. I am speaking with Nay Speaks, Boston's own princess. She's mixed hip hop and soul, and she's just been really the voice of the young people of Boston and nationally as well. Internationally, she's been doing her thing. So, talk to me about how music has become like your affirmation, because a lot of your songs sound like affirmations. Like, literally, it's you talking your ish, but it becomes our ish too. Like, you're
hmm
writing anthems for us, but it's really for you. But at the same time, that's why music is so dope. So, talk to me about how you come up with these songs.
my process is so random. Like every time people ask me that question, I just be like, it all depends. Like sometimes I get sent beats and I'll be like, oh, I like this. And then whatever I hear on the beat, I just write. Like I could be writing in the kitchen, in the shower. Usually I like to write in my room, just like chilling, literally sitting on the bed, just chilling and writing. Me, my speaker, my notebook and stuff like that. So my writing process is just so random, but it's like intimate. I know that I like to write when I'm just by myself and it's just me just vibing, um relaxing, comfy. I
Yes.
like to write with my bonnet on, like,
I know that.
yeah.
So, one of the things that we talk about on this show is called Bet on Self Moments, something that was inspired by my dad, who always told me to bet on myself. So, every guest, I always like to talk to them about their bet on self moments. And those are those times in your life where you decide, if not me, then who? If not
Mhm.
now, then when? And you really take up space, which you've already really alluded to already. Talk to me about a bet on self moment, either past, present, or something that's coming up in the future, um, for you.
I'll go back to talking about like the 50 days prior to graduation. I think that was a big like bet on self moment where, like I'm dropping music and I'm watching my music go up and I'm like, okay, this is looking good. And then I'm seeing opportunities like the belly gang competition where he's like, all right, we always give money to, the girls in the club. We want to give money to the girls in school. And I'm like, okay, I can't miss this. I submit the video the same night that it's due. It blows up the same night. And so I'm like, okay, what's my follow up? Like I make sure, I don't play about my like how I do things when it comes to, okay, he says he wants to come to the school. I got to make sure I get enough content for this. I got to make sure, like I don't play about a rollout. So after
It
that,
does not. I was going to ask you about that. Do you
mhm.
come up with all of your content and the creative direction behind it? Do you like?
Yeah, and I have an amazing team. Like it's my creative direction and then I have help from an amazing team behind me, like phenomenal team. So I feel like we work very well together and figure out like, all right, if we're gonna do this, we're gonna do it to the max. We're gonna do it to the fullest extent we can, like with everything. And so that's what this past, I feel like past year has been.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I've seen your style also morph. What? Tell me a little bit about your style, because it's a little bit. It reminds me of old school, house party with a little bit of TLC wrapped in there. And then sometimes you'll throw in uh, lay your wig down and be in a whole nother vibe. So talk to me about that, the creative direction, the videos, and just your style. How would you describe it?
Hmm. I don't know, cause I like an old school vibe. I like the merging of like old school and new school. So sometimes it's like I want my pixie cut laid and my big gold earrings and hoops and baggy jeans and sneakers. Sometimes I want like my wig laid and things like it all depends on the day. I wake up and
Yeah,
I feel different every day. Like I got this wig on right now. I'll probably snatch this off, lay a pixie cut tomorrow. So, that's actually something I feel like I'm still figuring out what exactly my style is because I change everything all the time.
well,
But
maybe.
my hair is like the biggest one. I love to change my hair. That's like my favorite thing because I do hair and I've been doing it since I was younger. So even sometimes my manager be like, "Girl, how you had a wig today and the pixie cut tomorrow and the red hair on Thursday?" But
Yes.
sometimes it's how it
Listen,
be.
I can relate to you. For all those
Yeah,
that probably already see that, one minute you saw my pixie was back, now today I'm doing something else. And
right,
listen, it's what I do. I know it confuses y'all, but it does not confuse me.
right,
I love every bit of it. So I think that's one of the black girl magics, that we can be so versatile like that.
right.
So for everybody, even the people that are on the live and just listening, this is something I want us all to reflect on. What story have you been telling yourself that no longer serves you? Like, is there moments where you had to sit and go, you know what? It's time for me to really change that particular narrative of myself, and because it's not serving me anymore. And if so, can you tell us a little bit about what that conversation in your head may have been like?
Hmm. What story have you been telling yourself that no longer serves you? The music is like,
Just in my background,
uh,
I love this bed. It's supposed to make you think.
yeah, it
It's
definitely
a very
is.
creative space.
I like it. I think I'd say for this one. Growing up and being like the youngest child, like and my all my siblings are like fairly older than me. I think I always just was like, like I need help like processing certain things. And then as I'm getting older, people dedicate less time to helping you figure out what you want. Like that's more so on you in terms of where you want to live, how you want to live, the life you're working toward, you being in school, but you have to want everything that you want in life, you have to want it for yourself, especially as you're getting older. Like, mommy's not always here to tell me get up out the bed and go do what you got to do. So I think like the older I got and coming to school, being in a new place and understanding like if you want to live a certain way, you're gonna have to figure out a lot of things by yourself. academically, financially, mentally, physically. Um, I had to break myself out of the shell of being the baby, almost like thinking that I always needed help, when in fact sometimes you can figure it out by yourself, and you can go to that appointment by yourself, and you can get there, you can travel, all of these things. Because growing up, feel like I was like sheltered. Like my mom hold me real close. That's my twin, that's like my
Yeah,
best
she
friend, my
looked
other
just like
half.
her mama.
Yes. And so I was always up under my mom. And then eventually it was like, all right, baby girl, like, you gotta fly. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
It's that defining moment when you think about stages of development that you transition into adulthood, right? When you make those decisions. And I think bet on self moments are often that, there's a point where you have to stop blaming your upbringing, your parents, you
Right.
know, life circumstances, and you have to get in the driver's seat and you have to start
Hmm.
making decisions for yourself and deciding, what works doesn't work and making it be you, right? You can't keep using everyone else as the excuse of why you don't get to where you want to be. So
Right.
I think those are defining moments for a lot of people. Um, and if you haven't had one, I'm hoping that people that are listening eventually will have a bet on self moment. You mentioned having to hit rock bottom, and for a lot of people, that's where their bet on self moments usually are manifested, is when they are at their lowest point. So, talk to me about that moment that your mom called you and said, "It's paid. The tuition is paid." She got that notification that you had a zero balance and it was paid.
Yeah.
And talk to me about that moment, and if for those that don't know, give them a little background history too about
Okay.
what transpired.
So I had done like the Belly Gang scholarship challenge, made a freestyle, posted the video, tagged him, and I won it. So I did content around that, and so I had a rapper, Lil Baby, comment and be like, "Well, I got money on the tuition too." But by that time, my tuition had been cleared. I got the Belly Gang scholarship. I got a scholarship from Spelman, and so now I was like, well, I have other things that I know I'm gonna need cleared too, because my mom had been talking about, student loans. Like I said, I have older siblings that I've seen like um deal with student loans, big cousins still talking about student loans till this day. And so I'm like, all right, like how can I get to the finish line with this? Like I have an opportunity here and I should juice it as much as I can. So I make another video freestyling for little baby. Hey little baby, my tuition's paid off, but I got student loans and this too. Um, and so I realized, and even how he just operates, like he had a whole team. He's not fully facilitating this. He's putting the play in motion, and then he's like, "I'm gonna connect you with my team to do the rest." So I'm reaching out to her, like graduation inching up. I'm reaching out to her, like, "Hey, like here's the login. Here's this and this. Here's my mom's name and this and this and this." And like, she's like updating me, like, "Okay, we're going through the chain. Like they have a full process they have to get through." And so I'm checking in with each step of the process. Hey.
Don't
So
forget about me.
finally,
My name is
yes.
Nay.
After graduation, she was like, "Hey, Nay, like we're working on it. We're sending it to the higher ups now to make sure everything goes through." And so I sent her the login again. I'm like, "Anything you need, you let me know. I'm here." And so I'm making sure she texts me. I'm responding quick, same second, quick password. Here you go. And so eventually she's like, "It should be processed within the next day." So we see the 24,000 pending. Next day it's green, cleared. My mom calls me like, "Nay, I got the email." So it's like, it wasn't like a surprise, but it was like a yes,
Like it really, really was,
we did
really happened.
it. Yes.
And for everybody in Boston, that was a highlight. I remember a shout out to Exit Fame posting it, and a couple other people posted about you too. Wonder,
Mhm.
me. It was like really something as a city. It was like, this is the stuff that we should support and the stuff that we need to big up because it was a big deal. So again, just thank you for showing all of us, young, old, or whatever, about betting on ourselves and like putting yourself out there and just going big, go big or go home. Like
Go home.
don't even, don't worry about whether or not it's not going to work. Think about if
Hmm.
it will work, and when
If
it
it
works,
does, right.
like what do you really got to lose? And I think ultimately taking all of the shots, all of the shots that you don't take, you're going to definitely 100% miss them. So you might as
Hmm.
well just take the shot. So I
Right.
just love that. I definitely been just like, wow, this is just great. Great energy with all of the stuff that goes on the internet. You need to have stories like that.
Right.
Now, you've gone viral multiple times at this point, right? Like people know you all over the place from what is that? What is that? Shade Room,
Hmm.
BT. I mean, has there been anyone that has, I guess, broadcasted you or posted you that you was like, oh snap, like it's really happening? Like, was there ever one that you was like, Ma, I'm on Shade Room? I think your mother did that though. She's like, my baby
Yeah.
just made it to the Shade Room. Actually, I remember when you was on the Breakfast Club. I think a
Hmm.
young lady played your track. I think that was
Yeah.
the first time I think me and your mom were like, yo, she's on the Breakfast Club. They just posted her song. So talk to me about those moments, like when you were in school, you know what I mean? Did somebody call you and was like, yo, or did you just like, yeah, tell us. We want to know the behind the scenes.
Yeah, I was definitely in school. When stuff like that happens, it's so funny because like my day's still going along like per like regular schedule, you know. But when stuff like that happens, like Breakfast Club, Shade Room, BET, all of them were like, I always go to my mom, like, Mama, go look, go look. She's like, I don't even know how to work this. She doesn't know anything about like the socials for real, but she gets on them to, support me and share everything that I do. So stuff like that happens and I just look at it all day. Like I will rewatch the video over and over because I'm just like, these are things that I have like wrote down or like envisioned, spoke about on vision boards. Like I make a vision board every year. Um and so that happening like repeatedly, I mean, those are affirmations in themselves. Like just keep going
Right.
because it's not on your time, but it's gonna happen. And when it does, that gratification is different because it's like not only did I pray for this, like I work for this, and I feel like I always try to meet God halfway, to the best of my ability. So
Think that's dope. Again, shout out to everybody. Thank you, Miss Debbie, she said she just ran across the live by chance and she so appreciates listening to this powerful, informative session. We appreciate you too. Thank you, everybody who shared the live. Once again, everybody that's on Instagram, shout out. This is moving too fast, y'all. I can't even catch up with all y'all's comments, but I will go back. I'm just really thankful for y'all tuning in. As I told you guys, this is actually the last episode. This is the season finale. What better way to kick it off with a blast, but with my sister here, Nay Speaks. I am officially going to daytime, y'all. As of July 19th, Conversations with Coach La goes to daytime radio,
yes,
11
yes.
a.m. Sundays, July 19th. Save that date. Um, so last but not least, talk to me about your boundaries. What boundaries do you have in place that protect your peace? Because that's another big one that's out there. Like boundaries. Protect your peace. How does Nay Speaks protect her peace and enforce her boundaries?
Coach Law, every boundary you could think of. No, sir. I
Especially
put
as you
my
getting
do
more
not
popular,
disturb
right?
on. Huh?
Especially as you've gotten more popular and
Oh
more, and
yes.
now you famous. Like they're coming
Now
from
you're
all different.
famous.
You know what I'm saying? All different directions.
Yep.
They're hitting your DMs. So how do you protect your peace?
Put my do not disturb on past a certain time. Like I set certain time for things when I want to check my DMs, which DMs I check. Some things come to the DM and get immediately deleted because people play all day. But I just make sure that like I really devote my time to the things that I care about. And a lot of the, opportunities and aspirations that I have, I've come to realize that like you don't always have to chase. Like They come to you. You just have to keep making the music and keep making the content and doing the work, and showing up. And so that's all I try to do. And the best way that I can do that is making sure I spend time with my family, making sure I touch grass and come back home. Those things are super important to me. And so those help me keep my boundaries up to the point where I know who is genuinely supporting me. I know who loves me. For me also, not just Nate Speaks the artist, but as Janae. And so making sure that I touch base with those people lets me it helps me navigate, some people that might just be looking for opportunities or things like that. And that's okay. Business is business.
That's
But I think knowing the difference is important. So
yeah. Good point. Now we're gonna hit Coach's Corner, and then I got a couple of things. So Coach's Corner, when we think about closing out this show, right? Like, what do we want people to take away as lessons, life lessons, things that they can carry into their week, right? If you think about the best athletes, right, have coaches. People don't realize the importance of having a team and having people that can support you. So this is an opportunity to coach the listeners. We got a lot of people on here. What are some things that you want them to take away from this conversation? They can carry into their life, or just carry into the next 24 hours, or to carry into this week.
Oh, okay. My advice to carry in life, or at least through this week, is that if life gets still or quiet or silent, just let it be that. Don't try to fill noise or fill a void. Let some things be quiet or still or empty for this week and find out what it's teaching you. So I feel like sometimes I like life to move so fast that when things are quiet or they stop moving, I'm like, all right, what's the next thing? Or what can I play? What can I put on? What can I watch? What can I do? But for me, like this past couple weeks has been about like not trying to fill the space. If I decide I want to pick up a book or, be intentional with filling the space, that's the thing. If you decide you want to pick up a book or you want to journal or you want to take a minute to breathe or listen to your music or look at the sky, be intentional if you decide to fill a space. And if you don't have an intention for the space, don't fill it.
That's so good. Be still, allow it, be okay with not having something to do next. And I
Right.
think that's the time really to reflect on all that you've already accomplished, because sometimes we don't really look for our receipts, right? We don't really take inventory of everything that we've already survived, everything that we've already pushed through, to realize just how much strength we have, because we're always moving for the next thing. I always tell my clients, you've already survived 100% of your worst days. If you are here, if you're in this very
Hmm.
moment still standing, you've already gotten through something. And
Right.
sometimes you forget that you've been able to do that. Um, all right, finish this sentence for me. Healing is.
Healing is. Healing is a beautiful yet painful practice.
That's a good one. Purpose is.
Purpose is purpose is often not as much of your choice as you think. And
Mhm.
I mean that in a good way.
Boston means.
Boston means Boston means wake up.
Mm,
Boston means wake up.
mm,
I love my city. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful city. I think we have a lot going on right now that we all have to be attentive about. We need to learn about what's going on in our city. That's been a big thing for me coming out of school, being in Atlanta and coming back home and seeing things are changing. Like the trees across the street has turned into a building. The youth job that I used to have is no longer available. Things like that. And so I feel like Boston means wake up.
Mm. Legacy is.
Mm. Legacy is Legacy is the brick, their bricks, your brick. It's the bricks. It's the
Mm.
foundation,
Yeah.
the structure.
Yeah. All right. The little girl inside me would say, hold on.
We are the Urban Heat. Expect the unexpected. Unorthodox radio from Boston and beyond. Heat981fm.com and iHeart Station.
All right. I almost forgot. I almost forgot the station ID. The little girl inside me would say,
Say, you're mad cool.
yep,
You're mad cool.
you're mad cool. And the next chapter is
Go and get
go and get it.
it.
I like that. Nay Speaks, I have enjoyed having you on this virtual couch with me. Just keep being so dope. So many people spend years searching for their voice when the truth is it has already been there. It's always been there. It's always in you. It's just a matter of finding the courage to bring it out. Fear
Right.
can hide it. Comparison can mute it. Trauma can question it. But healing gives it permission to speak. So tonight, Miss Nay, you reminded us that purpose isn't about becoming something new. So I appreciate you for really just sitting and being vulnerable and just reminding everybody to bet on themselves, and not only bet on themselves, to just show up and take up space. It's remembering you've always been that girl, that dude. You've always been her, him. And whether your voice sounds like music, poetry, leadership, motherhood, entrepreneurship, or simply saying, I need help, your voice matters, your story matters. And someone else's healing may begin the moment that you decide to tell it. So I appreciate everyone on all the platforms tonight for joining me on this finale with Miss Nay Speaks. And I hope you guys make sure to tune in July 19th. Save that date. I go to daytime, 11 a.m. And this week's challenge is to be a writer. Nay's a writer, first and foremost. Even the people who rap, do spoken word, we start with putting pen to paper. I
Right.
want you to title it The Voice That I've Been Afraid to Use. And I want you to journal about that. I want to encourage everybody to find their voice, to speak up, take up space. I don't want you to edit it. I don't want you to judge it. I want you to simply just tell your truth. And I thank you all for listening. I thank you, Miss Nay. Any final words, shout outs to the people before we tell them good night?
Thank you for having me, Coach La. Shout out to back home. I love y'all. Shout out to my mama if you're watching this.
Yep.
And yeah, I appreciate y'all.
Yes, I appreciate you. Where can they find you? And where do you want them to go? I know, tell them where they can find you so we can run them numbers up and when your next project is coming out.
Y'all can find me everywhere. Nay Speaks, NAYSPEAKS. Y'all already know. And stay tuned. We're dropping soon again. So stay tuned on all your music platforms. Go get that. Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, Audio Mac, all of the things.
All of the things.
Yes.
Thank you, Nay. Enjoy your night. Thank you again. Hopefully you'll come back and join me in the daytime spot. Shout out
Yes.
to everybody everywhere. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for the Morning Cafe. You've been listening to the Urban Heat, Boston Got Black Radio. This is Coach La La La, your favorite around the way therapist, reminding everybody to bet on themselves and telling you good night.